Dr. Janine, and today we are going to make stuffed chicken. Now, it's a healthy version of stuffed chicken, and it's really, really good. Everybody that ever tasted it say that they really can't wait to make it again. First, I'm going to start with turning on the oven. Got to preheat the oven, so I am turning it on right now. It is 275. So the reason that I cook a lot on low temperatures, and you'll be seeing that as more and more videos come out. And one of the reasons is meat oxidizes more at high temperatures. So to actually keep down oxidation in the body and keep down your oxidized LDL, we actually like going lower temperatures. Some things we have to go a little higher, but on this one, it's actually better to go low because it is so tender in the end that you can cut it with a fork. You don't even have to have a knife to eat this in the end. So let's start by making what I'm going to stuff the chicken with. Lots of veggies is what it is. Okay, I'm going to start with just putting a little bit of avocado oil, just enough for sauteing the onions and garlic. Like everybody knows, you got to start with onions and garlic for just about everything I do. And just it's going to be about a tablespoon. It is not a lot. And then I have a half of a purple onion. I just prefer purple onions. You can use yellow onions, you can use white onions, you can use whatever kind of onion you like. So I already had it pre-chopped, just throw it in there. Okay, same thing, garlic. I'm using 4 cloves of garlic. Now that's a lot of garlic, but I eat a lot of garlic. Garlic is very healthy for you. Garlic has so many benefits. It actually is antiviral, antibacterial, antiparasitic. So garlic also helps keep down oxidation in food. So it's always good to start with garlic. You don't have to put as much as I'm putting, but you can. It's really good with high amounts of garlic. And of course, I use fresh, organic garlic. Now for sauteing, I do have to go a little higher temperature. But I'm not cooking meat at this point. Meat is what oxidizes. Anything that has high cholesterol oxidizes. So what we're doing is you can make veggies a little bit higher with no problem. It's just when you go to cook meat, you don't want to go too high. Okay, when it gets close, being caramelized, so it's getting close. That's when I add mushrooms. This is a half of a container of 8-ounce mushrooms. So use 4 ounces of mushrooms chopped up. So now if I start getting a little bit of sticking where it looks like you need more oil, I tend to just use a little bit of water. Just enough to actually make it cook down a little faster, because the steam, when you add water, does help it cook down faster. I can turn down the heat a little bit for the next one I'm putting in. Now, the next thing we're going to put in is, I don't do a lot of canned things, but I will use canned tomatoes when it's not seasoned to have tomatoes from our garden. I like using organic, fire roasted. They have a really good taste. And this actual one has green chilies. So it gives it that little bit of green chili taste. And it's not real strong. It's not real spicy. So it is a mild green chili, but it makes it taste really good. So I'm going to add that next. Next, I'm going to put in more salt. You got to always have some salt. And I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of salt, always with salt. You want it to go to your liking. Everybody is different on sodium. Some people need extra sodium. We see so many people in their lab work, they're low in sodium. And sodium is essential for health. You don't want to overdo it. And when you don't eat packaged processed foods, which we don't, you don't get the abundance of salt that you get from those types of food anyway. And then I am going to add some organic coconut nectar. It gives it, don't put a lot. We don't want a high sugar amount. We want to do low carbohydrate in most of the things I cook. But it just gives it that good taste, because what we're talking about is how to cook healthy, but it still be tasty and good where you want to eat it. And so I'm going to put about a tablespoon. Next, I'm going to add the spinach. I use, again, organic spinach. These are 5-ounce containers, and I use 2. Spinach cooks down to nothing. So you have to use a good bit of it, and that way you're getting plenty of spinach, and spinach is good for you, so you definitely want to eat it. And I pre-chop it. I've already done that today, so I like it chopped in smaller pieces. You do not have to do that. But I chopped it a little earlier into smaller pieces, but again, you don't have to. So you add that to it. In just a minute, this will be all cooked down, so I can add the second container because it'll disappear. Spinach is actually really good. Now, it has a high amount of iron, but green leafy vegetables also have calcium. And people don't think about calcium coming from greens, but they do. And it's just one of those foods that has very low caloric value. So you're not getting huge amounts of calories from it, but it's actually just really good to help overall health. Okay, when it's about cooked down where it can handle another container, I put the second in. Like I said, these are 5-ounce containers. And I use a lot of spinach. Okay, when it's getting close, I add the top one. And that way it cooks the spinach down more. I like the spinach very done. And it's going to cook in the stove for a while anyway, but I like it to be cooked down in the stuffing. So I am going to cover this, turn down the heat, and then we're going to get our chicken ready. So next is how do you get your chicken ready to stuff it? I have here 3 big organic chicken breasts that has actually already been trimmed. I like trimming the fat off. That's just me. Not everybody does that. It makes it more tender. You don't hit gristle. So that's what I do. So I just lay out the 3 pieces on parchment paper. And then I take another piece of parchment paper and put it over the top because I don't like splattering chicken juice all over the kitchen. And then I use a little hammer. I don't know what you'd call it, but it actually, you can pound it, tenderize it on one side and pound it down on the other side. And I just start beating it. You have to flatten it out so then you can stuff it and wrap it. I like to get it thin, but not too thin. You don't want it to break and have all the stuffing fall out of it. And remove the top. And next, I'm going to season my chicken with just a little bit of salt and a little bit of this organic buffalo seasoning. It's actually really good. You can use paprika. That's one of the big things in here. So you can actually use your own smoked paprika. Doesn't matter. So that is one of the things that you can do. Whatever you like the taste of. Okay. Chicken is actually ready to stuff. So what we're going to do is I am going to lay chicken down in the pan that I'm going to use. I like seasoning both sides. Now I'm going to check the stuffing and see if it's ready. I am a taster when it comes to cooking. I taste it, and if it needs anything else for my taste, then you can add it. It actually tastes really good. I don't think it needs anything, so I'm not going to add anything else to it. But that is what I do to see if it does need more salt. If it does need a little bit more coconut nectar, I actually do that. But if you notice, I didn't put much in it. I didn't put tons of coconut nectar. It's barely sweet, but it's enough to cut those tomatoes, because everybody's always thinking they have to have sugar to cut tomatoes. I do not use refined sugar, so I never use sugar, and it can be cut with just a little bit of coconut nectar. Don't even take a lot of it. Okay. Since this is ready, We are going to bring it over near the chicken so that I can stuff it. Bring it over here. Now, today I'm going to partially use some dairy on one piece of chicken, but I'm not on the other two pieces of chicken because some people eat dairy, some people do not. It's a goat cheese that is actually made in a country that does not use the hormones. So that is what I'm going to use. And I just cut off a little bit of chunks, and we're only going to put it on one. For the middle of the stuffing, what we want to do is not get as much of the juice. And I'm going to stuff it, and then I'm going to add the rest of it on top of the chicken. We're going to wrap the chicken around the stuffing. Okay. So each piece of chicken is wrapped. I turn it to the side. Then I am going to top it with more because we just want tons of veggies. This is one of the few things we're going to, like I said, we're not going to eat a lot with it today. I'm going to do some cucumbers with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and that's what we're going to have for the whole meal. So this has a lot of veggies in it. You're getting your onions, your garlic, your tomatoes, your spinach, your mushrooms. And if you notice, this stuffing probably makes about 4 pieces. I have a little bit extra, so I'm probably going to top it a little bit more than normal. But the pack of chicken that I had today only had 3 breasts and not 4 breasts, so that's what I did. It's huge, so it is a meal when you get it out. It's enough to eat, and it keeps you full for a while. So now I'm going to put the top on it. If you don't have something to cook on that has a top, you can use a foil or something over the top of it, but I do like to keep the heat in it. Another thing is I put a tiny bit of wine in the bottle. Little bit. I mean, just not much at all. Not even a couple ounces. What it does is it actually helps tenderize the chicken. Put the top on it, and we're going to stick it in the oven, again at 275, and we're going to cook it slow. So I am going to cook this for about hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll check it an hour and a half, but usually I do it for about 2 hours. It has been just about 2 hours. About 15 minutes ago, I took the lid off the chicken and let it cook a little bit without anything on it, so it's ready to come out of the oven. If you're going to do the goat cheese, the one piece I had the goat cheese on, I went ahead and put a little bit on top as well. I always check the temperature. I did that actually when I took the top off, but always check it. Make sure it is very good and done. This one's pretty done. And I didn't cook it on high. I cooked it on 275, but it still gets well done. I'm going to bring it right here. Let me get something to take it out of the pan. Here we go. Now, sometimes people want extra, like, juiciness, and so you can take some of the juice from the pan and kind of put over the top. Today, we're going to actually have some cucumbers that I just sliced up, put a little bit of tamari, rice vinegar, salt, white pepper, and then I put some cayenne pepper flakes. You don't have to do that if you don't like them. So we're going to stick those on a plate. And like I said, with as many vegetables that was in the stuffed chicken, it's a meal on its own, but we do add a little cucumbers and then you get some extra. If you like this recipe, go ahead and subscribe and like at the bottom, and that way you'll get the new recipes coming up. It's always good to eat healthy, and you want it to taste good at the same time. So subscribe and like, and we'll see you next time.